So we have now Jeffrey Allard, who's a film producer, and I never sat down with him, so I'm gonna get to know him a little bit better today with you. So, Jeff, thank you so much for being here today. I would like, first of all, to maybe introduce you, and you can tell us what you do currently
Sure.
and who you are
Sure.
first, so that because I mean I know you're a film producer, but tell me what are your interests?
Sure, Eileen. Thank you for having me here. I am a film producer. I've been producing films since 2003.
Yes.
Prior to that, I was a banker. I'm not sure if you remember that, but we met some 10 years
Oh,
ago.
investment banker.
Yes,
Okay.
and I
Okay.
gave you some background on that, and we haven't seen each other since.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see you
It's
again.
been 10 years.
It has been 10 years, or close to 10
That's
years.
why
We saw each other in Menlo Park.
that's why I didn't recognize you.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
I've gained lots of weight in 10 years, but
So many things happening at once.
yeah. So I suppose might have been a little bit after that, but I produced my first movie, a remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Mm-hmm.
in 2003. So I'm not sure I'd met you then,
Mm-hmm.
possibly around that time. So
What was the name of it?
the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh,
Which-
that had a big success?
yeah, it was one of the largest independent grossing films
Wow,
in
good for
history.
you.
Yeah, filmmaking. We grossed over 200. Well, we grossed over 100 million on the remake, and
Wow.
then I did a subsequent prequel that grossed about $50 million.
Where's that? When was that?
That was in 2006.
Good for you.
Yeah. So the first movie we had Jessica Biel,
Mm-hmm.
and since then she's gone on to do many larger movies. But she was a delight to work with, and I was fortunate enough that was my first movie that I produced, and so going right into banking, and then had the opportunity, the option, the rights to remake the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and here we go, and we grossed about $100 million on that.
Oh, congratulations!
yeah.
I'm so happy for you. Can you tell me what was your last project?
My last project, I just arrived from Los Angeles. I spent 2 months in Los Angeles filming a film called Liars All,
Yeah.
starring Matt Lanter.
Yeah.
who
Sorry about
is-
that.
That's okay, Matt Lanter.
Forgot you.
He's the lead on 90210.
Yeah.
And Sarah Paxton, who has a feature film coming out this year called Shark Night. And she was also the lead in Last House on the Left, came out last year. And another movie, I believe, superhero movie. She was also the lead in that. So we just completed filming in Los Angeles and London.
Mm-hmm.
It was about a 28-day shoot. Kind of another low-budget independent film. And this is more of a
The last
psychological
one
film.
was about what?
It was a low-budget independent film.
For you or for someone else?
For us. We financed it,
For
yes.
you, okay.
I mean, most of the films I've done since Texas Chainsaw Massacre have been low-budget. And low-budget, even by studio standards, Texas Chainsaw was a low-budget movie. We produced that for under $12 million.
It's considered low budget?
It is by the studio.
After 10, I heard it's, well...
Yeah, it was originally, when we did Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we had budgeted for under 10 million, and then
And you did it for how much?
we ended up around 12 million.
That's pretty good for
Yeah,
the return.
it
10
is.
times.
It is.
10
Well, no, then we
almost.
sold it for more than that, so we
Oh.
actually did very well on that.
Okay.
My partner on that film was Michael Bay, who
Oh.
produced Transformers, or directed Transformers and Pearl Harbor and Bad Boys. And,
Really? That's a big one.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Pearl
when
Harbor, that was a great movie.
Yes, he directed it with Jerry and produced it with Jerry Bruckheimer.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to do my first movie with Michael Bay. He, after I acquired the rights, he called me. He'd heard through the grapevine that I owned the rights to remake the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He gave me a call. He had me over to his house, and
Wow.
5 or 6 of his people
You were
were
born
there.
on a good star.
I know, and I was lucky, and we hit that one out of the park. So it was really nice to do your first movie and get it released theatrically.
Okay, but the new one is action, adventure?
It
or
is more of a psychological thriller. So I've
a
done
thriller, okay.
yes, I've done 4 movies since then, and they've all mostly have been in the horror genre.
Yeah.
Because now when I do a movie, they'll mark it as from the producer of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. and so they immediately will get distribution using that moniker. And this one is slightly outside of that box. It's a psychological thriller where we have a handful of young college postgraduates going back to London for a New Year's Eve party, and they get involved in a game called Truth or Dare, and this game escalates to the point where someone actually gets killed, and the British detective has to figure out how that happens, because when she interviews each of the game participants, they each have a slightly different story. And then, you know, it was inspired by the Amanda Knox story. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but the college student from Italy whose roommates, you know, ultimately one of them killed one of the roommates, and they weren't able to figure out whom. And they actually,
so you made a film out of that?
We did. It was light. Our movie was just slightly inspired by it.
Okay.
And that's our director, writer, Brian Brightly.
There's so
came
many
up with
tragedies out there. You can have tons of themes.
There
right?
are. There's so many opportunities, sadly to say, but yes. So a lot of these new films, you know, are inspired by current events.
Yeah, like the last tragedy. I mean, like the last French Dominique Strauss-Kahn who was accused of raping the lady at Sofitel. Yeah, you remember?
Right. Yes.
So I'm sure everybody wants to make a film out of that.
Yes.
They're already trying to make remakes on YouTube and stuff of what could have happened, and they put like fake figure of him and how did he do it. Imagination go in all directions.
Sure.
So we don't know, but I'm sure a film will come out of it.
Yes, I bet.
Yeah.
If there's a story, a film will be made about it, absolutely.
Exactly, but everybody probably is going to grab their own interpretation.
Yes.
And after the trial, there'll be probably another movie.
Yes.
So it's probably not exactly what you want to do, but I am so honored to have you here. If you have done a movie that was so successful, I didn't know.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm usually the who's who. I'm the who's he with the who's who.
Okay.
You know, when I go to the Hollywood premieres. So no, being up in San Francisco, I am kind of a novelty.
Okay.
When I go to Los Angeles,
there's a lot of
a lot of producers. But yes, being in San Francisco in the Bay Area, there aren't that many producers. I mean, there are a number of producers.
But they move to LA
they
when they become big?
They do. It's hard. You know, not a lot of films are produced up in San Francisco. I only produced my first San Francisco film about a year ago, and we went to Sundance with it. But there's not quite as much film opportunity. Luckily, as a producer, I don't have to live in Los Angeles because I can just fly down there, produce the film, and then come back. And I really prefer to be in the Bay Area. You know, I grew up here.
While I have you here, I want to ask you, since you said you don't direct, what is your role on the set?
As the lead producer, it really, especially in these low budget films, it starts out sourcing a script, and typically it comes with a director. So I get pitched a number of scripts, you know, and from all sorts of places, scripts are thrown at my way.
But when you're filming on the set, you help the director?
Yeah, so what I do is when I source a script, then I have to raise the money.
Oh, okay.
Typically raise the money. Oftentimes the script comes with the money. Then I hire the entire crew.
Oh, so you are also the casting agent?
Yes, and then we cast up. So I'll hire the casting director.
Oh, you hire the casting director?
In some cases, I'll do the casting directly with my director.
Okay.
In this last film.
So you're actively involved in the actual production?
Yes, absolutely. So I moved to the location where we're producing for a month in advance, hold the meetings with all the cast, with all the crew, find the locations, hire a location manager to find the locations, and then negotiate all the contracts with the crew and the cast as well, close the financing, rent the equipment, and then put together a schedule, and then we shoot the film. And then the director, in this case, really is more creative and will interpret the film or interpret the script and translate that script into a film. And my job is really to keep his mind free of anything but the creative aspect of making that film. and I do all the other business aspect and some of the creative aspect, because I'm involved in the actual script development as well, because that script is developed from all the way through the shoot of the film. That script changes every day, literally, during the shoot.
Okay, so you say, okay, let's do this, let's change this.
Yes, yes.
And so, are you the final word on what's happening, or the director has a final word?
Well, it depends on each project. In the last project, I'll have the final say on almost pretty much all the business decisions from the crew, including the cast.
But on the last scene, for example, the director decide that?
The director decides the scenes and how he wants the scenes set up.
Okay.
Even though I'm there,
and the post-production will be a little bit supervised by the director?
Yes, the director sits in, right now is sitting in daily 12-hour sessions with our editor, cutting the film, and then they send me on a weekly basis what they've cut, an update, and little cuts.
Ask your opinion?
Yeah, ask my opinion. I try to stay away from that. I have a lot of faith in my director.
You have so much work to do.
I do. I'm actually still wrapping out the film.
You are in San Francisco, right?
I'm in San Francisco right now.
Okay.
We wrapped the film 3 weeks ago, and I'm still dealing with wrapping out the film. We have insurance issues. We have some damaged equipment. We have some lost equipment. We have some, things that you still have to wrap out that takes up
you
to
have
30
insurance
days.
and all that
We
stuff?
have insurance, so I'm dealing with that. Luckily, nothing significant, but
they'll
still,
be reimbursed, right?
they'll be reimbursed, and we have to run it through the insurance process.
It takes time. Yeah.
It takes time. It takes time.
So you started your introduction by saying you went from investment banker to filmmaker. So what ignited your interest? You saw a nice
the change
movie?
in the career. So I was actually more of an asset-based lender. So what I did was when companies, businesses wanted to buy equipment, I financed the equipment. So I was with the company in Marin County for many years, 16 years doing that. And then I moved from Marin County to San Mateo County to run Bayview Bank, which was a long-standing bank in the Bay Area. I ran their asset-based lending group. And this was in 2000. And I enjoyed what I was doing. And the bank actually ran into some, there was actually a kind of a little bit of a banking crisis in early 2000. Bayview Bank was not immune to that. They had acquired some difficult assets. They acquired a company that really we were undercapitalized to acquire, and it really forced us to sell the bank. So our bank was sold to U.S. Bancorp, and U.S. Bancorp only wanted our deposits. They only wanted part of our bank. So all other aspects of the bank were shut down, were merged into U.S. Bank. So I found myself, with a nice severance package, but I saw an end to that business, and simultaneous, or right around that time, a good friend of mine who created the Bachelor TV series, and he also did Poseidon Adventure, and also a couple other movies, called me up when we were college friends. His name is Mike Fleiss. He said, "Hey, let's do movies together. I have a TV show, but I'd like to get into movies." He hadn't gotten into movies yet, and you can help do the financing, run the business side of it, and I've got all the creative contacts. And I said, I'd love to. I mean, who wouldn't want to make a film? So I hopped into that.
And then you became a filmmaker.
I became a filmmaker.
And you liked it?
I enjoyed it. It took us about 2 years to acquire the first rights to Texas Chainsaw, which it took me over a year just to negotiate those rights.
But at the time I met you, you were still thinking about it.
Probably so. I think so. I don't think I had started that film at that point in time.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Yeah, it was about 2001 when I made the transition, or 2002, and acquired those rights.
You were thinking about it then, yeah.
Was it? Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So that's good. That's good now.